Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, November 5th, 2016. I went through my records, and I said yesterday's it was 7-2. Actually, I was 6-2 to open yesterday, and after the loss yesterday, as you can clearly see, a 236 score, not even 4 times value, basically bottom of the board on almost every position, 98th out of 100. It was just a really ugly lineup, and I'll go through it real fast. I mean, I can hit a big high and I can hit a big low going on a cash game, but this was just somewhat insane. Wesley Matthews got some foul trouble and ended up only seeing 7 points, had a couple turnovers, only 5.5. Pachulia didn't get minutes, and even when you're paying $11,000 for Davis, you need him to get you 55 points. All those little things that kind of just slow you down. If you pay too much for a guy and he doesn't perform, well, and Tim Frazier, it's just like, it'll happen occasionally. There are losses, and that's why I talked in yesterday's video about how to win by effectively choosing the right type of contests. Today's is going to show you guys something similar with cash roll management. So yesterday I had $20 in entries. Today I have pretty much the same thing, guys. You can count them up. A double up for $2, 3 more double ups for $2, so that's $8 total on double ups. It'll turn into $16 if those win. $5 in 50-50s, that'll turn into $9 if they win. So $9 plus $16, $25 if I can land in the top 40-45% today on a $20 entry, on a $20 lottery ticket. Okay, so I'll get $25 back. Nice part about the way I'd run my lineups is I have 2 entries in a quintuple up contest, so if I land in the top 18% or so, that's an extra $20. On top of, if you land at the very bottom of winning position, top 18% will do that for your single entry contests. The mini dribbler will pay $2.50 for the dollar, and the single block down at the bottom for $2 will pay $4. So $6.50 and $20 in the quints, that's $26.50 if I can land on the top 18%. On top of the other $25. See, and I like those odds, guys. For $20, I can keep on grinding every day and pull 25 for the next day, or if I get lucky, have $50 or even more. This is how I play it, this is how I grind it, and this is how I recommend you guys do it too. Most of your bets each day should be in 50-50s or in double up contests, and you should be betting only single entry GPPs. If you want to try the big one, just understand, there's a good chance you're throwing away money, because even if you do land towards the top, there are other entries that you could have put that $3 in that would have paid you a lot more. Like, let's say this lands in the top 15% and just pays that first tier of the $3 shot game. Let's look in the lobby real fast. So for today, and there's only one real contest, it's going to be that $3 one. So for 300,000, 50 grand a first or whatever, but let's look at the prize structure here. So there's 117,000 entries, the top 23,000 or so, so it's $5. You don't even really get double your money. To get about close to 2.5 times your money, you need to land in the top 6%. Well, I can land in the top 18% on a quintuple up and get 5 times my money. Why wouldn't you guys play 1 or 2 of those a night and really start to bring home extra money when you have good, decent landing lineups? It makes sense. And that's bankroll management, guys. Always bet a proportional amount, more than 50% of your entries on 50-50s and double ups versus your tournament entries, and whatever proportion you want. If I only had $10 to play each day, I would cut out half the double ups. I would cut out, the $2 single entry, but I'd just play the $1. And, I'd put $2 in tournaments and $8 in 50-50s and double ups. Maybe one $2 quintuple up to try to really have a chance, instead of one. I'd cut all these in half. If I was only playing $5 a day, I'd do it again. I'd play a $1 single entry tournament. I'd play a $2 double up and a $2 50-50, or, somewhere along those lines. You guys can figure out what's comfortable for you, but effective bankroll management means no matter what kind of winning streak we get on this channel, we're not going to continue on and, bet everything that we've won on the very next game. That's a surefire recipe for losing and making deposits twice a week. Unless you want to keep giving FanDuel money all the time, that's your guys' choice, but I prefer to take their money. It makes more sense. All right, on to today's lineup. I do apologize if you guys put a little too heavy on the last contest, but that's the whole point of, there are wins and losses, and try to manage So you're betting the same amount each day. I'm going to try to do a $20 level consistently on this channel so that everyone can see that I practice what I preach. And like I did for yesterday, I show you guys my losses. Real fast, I'll check. We saw the score. There it is, 236. Horrible. Let's get on to today. Let's do another 300. On to the upcoming lineup. Let's check it out. And this is an optimal cash game lineup, guys. So I would play this in 50-50 contests, in double-up contests, and if you feel like you've got some cojones today, well, then run it into a GPP contest. Those are harder to hit and don't pay off as much, but if a contest line lands really high, and you guys see those payouts that they pay out. The thing is, when you look at my lineups, guys, I don't think that I choose people that are... See, I think that a lot of other fantasy players know some of the guys that I point out on a day-to-day basis. They know the other players that are sitting out, and while you guys might not, they do, and they end up being played. Like Saturansky's a good example of that at Shotguard today. He's going to be somewhat highly owned, and people are, what? I haven't heard of him. Well, if you listen to my videos, the guy that you've never heard of before that's minimum is making up for a guy that's out. In this case, it's John Wall, who's sitting on the back end of a back-to-back because he had surgery in the offseason on his knees, and they kind of want to rest him up and make sure that he doesn't blow him out. So Saturansky will get the start today. He'll see double his normal minute run, and that's going to be a wonderful value. But let's get on to the rest of the positions today. We got Westbrook and Dunn. Westbrook is just one of those beasts in a cash game. You really can't avoid taking him because if the guy puts up 60, 65, it's the same thing I've told you before, you get killed. You can't win if somebody else does that. So you need to take these guys to make sure that you don't get crushed. And even if they put up 50, you bank on the fact that 55 to 60% of the players in your contest also have him too, and that the rest of your skills will bring you above the line towards the end. Generally, that's what happens if you play solid cash floor guys across the board on your lineup. We're not going for high ceiling individuals. And I know what Westbrook does have a high ceiling, but he's got a great floor of 50 points. For his $12,000 that we're paying today, he's going to get you 50. All right, and the reason why is because even if it goes into a blowout, it'll have been on Westbrook's back that it happens. He'll have 50 fantasy points before he ends up sitting. Your other point guard position, Dunn. I definitely think you guys can look at Lawson today if you want to just do a swap out. That's definitely a trade you can consider. He's playing the Bucks, but Lawson's been doing well. You look at his average fantasy points, he's paying more than 5 times a dollar consistently, and there's no reason why, you have 2 decent values right at 4,900. It's a place where you could play 2 different lineups, and I would be talking about that in tournaments. I would be running Dunn lineups, Lawson lineups, just because they're interchangeable. I might change someone out in terms of the scrub at Kyle Anderson. There's a lot of different things I would do in a tournament, and I would play 20 to 30 different lineups. For a cash game, I'm looking for the floor. I know Dunn has the minutes still with Rubio out. So Dunn will still continue to get a decent minute run, and at 4,900, that's fine for a floor. Alphabet has been a beast lately, guys. I don't know what to say about the shot guard position other than you can spend up a touch more at Harden, but I prefer Alphabet today against still a weak Sacramento team. Boogie has started to pick it up, but in terms of defense, I just still don't see it from the Kings. So I'd be taking Alphabet and loving it all day long. And those are your only 2 elite choices in terms of pricing. It just drops off a cliff from there. You got D-Wade. Fournier's in play with the Wizards. You can look at him for a tournament option. Possibly Levine against OKC, which might play a little faster today. Depot's definitely in play at only 5,800. Be looking at Depot. If you're looking for a cheap option that no one really might be onto today. Bradley Beal has shown us fits and start pieces occasionally, like last season, where a 40-point game occasionally, but I'm not so sure he does it against Orlando today. Alfred Payton might be a little too much for him. Let's see here. KCP. Definitely look at Caldwell Pope today. The guy has been a little bit of a sleeper, and against the Nuggets, I'd have no problem with anyone taking him there. More of a tournament play, but a lot of upside on him. And do we have anyone else here today? That's about it for the shot guard position, other than at your very bottom, Saturansky. And he's going to be getting the start today instead of our man John Wall. Okay? And that's up here, so anyways, he'll be out. Saturansky gets his place. Saturansky gets the minutes. So And since there's not much in the shot guard position, like in terms of if you needed money for Westbrook and Alphabet, you've got to go cheap in some positions. So I was very willing to take the value pick today and let my rest of my lineup fit. At small forward, I went cheap. Although if you have the money, there are choices. LBJ is always a consideration play. I just feel like his ceiling is 60 points now. And I mentioned it before and I didn't take it. I'm like, he can always give you 60. Same thing, he can always give you 60. But I don't see him giving us 70 or anything. He'll end up sitting if he gives us 60 points because it'll probably be a Cleveland blowout. And he's more likely to put up around that fantasy point average of 45. And let's remember, that average you're looking at over 5 games includes a 60-point effort. So the rest of the games are slightly below that 46-point average. I think he's fairly priced and I'd be willing to stick away today. I'm looking for better values than someone that's just a 4 to 5 timer. I want someone that's got a realistic chance at 6 times value. Leonard does at 8,500. He can put up 50 points. It's still the Clippers. The Clippers have been playing the best defense so far in the last 5 games. I've noticed that it's been tough for teams. So I think this is going to be more of a low-scoring game, and that Pops and the Clippers will play disciplined. And I would somewhat be avoiding the game today, to be honest, guys. Gallinari is in play as just a look. And this is where I'd be putting a bunch of tournament guys in to try to plug 1-1-1. But if you're not doing that, you can just skip these guys. Wiggins in a little bit of a maybe faster game, higher scoring. Morris just put up good numbers, and he's got Denver against him so I would look at Morris. I guess Wilson Chandler's in play again, but Detroit plays a little bit slower on the back end with their defense, and they're not as bad as they're middle of the road. I think he's more of just a watch and see player today. And then McDermott. McDermott, you're going to the cheap players where you still want to get some minute run. Guys, the minute run is a little dependent on if he's going to end up getting 25, 30 minutes. But if you look at his game log, check this out, guys. Last time they played, the second game opener of the season, they didn't have his number. McDermott came out there, he ran 27 minutes, and he put up 35 fantasy points. And most of it on the back of scoring, guys. But if he's the forgotten man once again up there, and, the Pacers don't pick him up yet again, the guy could rail another 4 threes on you and easily pay value today. I like him to put up a floor of about 15 points, though. If this minute run is consistent, and I believe that he's going to see about 25, 26, 27 minutes today, I'm going to hope he pays out, around 3/4 of a point a minute and gives me my floor of 20 points today. Something along the lines of this net game here. And if he has the upside on the Pacers, then all the more love for me. I'll take it to the bank. Anderson down here. Anderson is just a play on, who is going to get the minutes with Pop. I have a feeling that he gets more of the run today off the bench. There's a couple guys you can look at, and predicting the Pop minutes is always difficult. But, I need something that fits the rest of this lineup here, and I'm okay with taking an Anderson, even with the floor of 15 points or something, and I just hope he gives me a 20. I know I'm punting the entire small forward position today, and with King James sitting there, but there's a specific reason for it, guys. Against Utah's slow team, the first game's only 7 points, but he comes back in the next game and puts up 15. So as long as he gets some minute run, we're going to be fine on that pick. Okay. And this is where we spend up the money. Millsap today against the Rockets. I just love the positioning. I love a bounce-back play for him here because the Rockets are really bad at defending the power forward positions. So I would expect this guy right here to floor at 40 points today, and he could probably see a 45-50. When you can get 6 times value of an $8,000 plus player, take it and run every single day of the week. Round out the power forward position, I'm taking Dieng because I believe that he just had a bad game the other night, and when I checked a little bit of film, it seemed to me that he got caught up in just not making some shots and a bit of foul trouble that pulled him out of touch. They had to take it easy with him, and he just kind of backed off. And as long as he doesn't screw up again, I'm just going to write it off as an off night. If he does it to me again, we're probably not going to be taking Dieng again. But there's obviously, I'm showing you guys choices for a reason, and you could just drop right there to Parker against Sacramento, and it wouldn't be an issue. And, he could do pretty damn decent. 27 points, if he does something even remotely similar against Sacramento, 39 fantasy points is so not out of the question. So you can easily drop Dieng for Parker if he scares you. Guys have no problem doing it. If you want to, run it. I'm going to take Dieng because I think that he has a nice bounce back today. At the last minute, be watching me on Twitter, guys. I may make a change for Parker. I'm going to watch the opening lineups and everything else that's going on carefully, and I'm going to know a lot about this game because it's the first game that locks today in just a couple hours. All right, on to round out the position. What else we have in the power forward, though, real fast? I would be avoiding Griffin today. I just think it's going to run slower. K-Love can pop, but he doesn't pop consistently enough for me to want to take him at 75. I'd like to see him at 7-1 like Aldridge. I've already mentioned Aldridge can do well. We're at Dieng and Parker. Anderson maybe today against Atlanta. I mean, he could put up a 24-point performance, but I don't see a big ceiling there, so it'd just be if you're trying to fit someone cheaper. That's about it. And the center position. Center today is tough, guys. Once again, you got Cousins at the top, and Cousins looks like he's getting a bit back to form. I don't see him doing a 60-point performance again today. I mean, I do think 50 is right there and no question to get, and you're paying the 9,700 for the 50. And I almost feel the same thing with Towns. Towns picked up the slack in the last game, but it's not necessarily saying he's going to pick up the scoring slack in every game. Now, he'll fill out the stat sheet in the rest of the areas, and he does give you that consistent 38, 39, 40 fantasy points, but it's rare that he's starting to pull out 50. And I think we're going to see more of those performances soon, but either way, I'm talking about a guy at 9,700 and a guy at 8,900 at 50 points. When I think Drummond can give you 50 today against a bad Denver team. So I'm going to spend down a touch so I can use the money in the rest of this lineup, and I'm going to take Drummond and go for a 50-point performance with a floor of 40, which is fine for a cash game. I believe he has a great floor today against Denver. Other people you can look at besides Cousins in town if you have the money. You can look at Howard because the Rockets still don't have as much D as you'd like. I mean, the Beard is just not known for it, so what do you expect? I would avoid Vucevic today. Watch him drop 60. I would definitely avoid DeAndre Jordan. It's just going to be too slow. Miles Turner's in play. You can be looking at Miles Turner if you want to go cheaper. You can look at Nurkic again. Nurkic is still averaging 6 times value, and look at Adams today. Adams is an okay spot against the Timberwolves. Only 5,100. That's a nice value position. Tristan Thompson is hit or miss. I know he railed for yesterday, guys, until he shows that, he's actually going to get consistent usage from the team, and it's not just, he's got a hot hand, we're going to hand it to him more. I would be avoiding that. You're going to pick him on a couple nights, and he might be streaky and have a hot hand and really, put 40 points down. But if you take him all the time, I have a feeling you're going to end up losing more lineups than winning. He seems like a 20, 25-point fantasy point player this season. And you want a ceiling on these guys, not so much of, guaranteed 20 points for 4,700, which isn't even really 5 times value. Farther down the list, I would avoid Deadman today. If you had to drop and down to minimums, I would look at Kofos today. Other than that, nothing. And he's like an extra 100 above minimum. Okay. That's it for all of the games today. So let's review the lineup one more time. And this is for cash games only. At the point guard position, Westbrook and Dunn. At the shot guard position, Alphabet and Satoransky. At the small forward, McDermott and Anderson. At the power forward, Millsap and Dieng. And for your center position today, take Drummond. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the support. Please like the videos if you like the lineups. Definitely comment if you don't like something in it or you have another suggestion. Let everyone here know. I do try to comment on all these videos once a day before lineup locks. Sometimes I get to it twice a day, and I like to engage with all you guys. If you want to ask me any questions directly, follow me on Twitter and just send me a tweet. Twitter description is in the link below, or just look down and you'll see a link, and right there just click on it and you'll find me on Twitter and follow me and send me a tweet. I'm happy to talk to you guys and assist you with anything you got, tell you if you have a lineup you want me to look at, I'll give you my opinion on it. I'm here to help you guys. This is what this channel is about. I'm not a paid provider. All I do is try to give you guys my advice based on what I follow with fantasy and injuries and everything else and knowing the game, and that's the only reason why there's ads on this thing, and that's the only thing I ask for. I won't tweet out what you guys win or lose or what I do on Twitter. I just tweet out a lineup if, there's going to be a change. I don't say that much. I might retweet, contests. I don't see a reason to flood your guys' box with sales pitches. I'm not here to sell anything to you guys. You can take my advice. You don't have to take my advice. It's all up to you. I'm just trying to show you guys what's out there and what you guys can do on any given day. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys' weekend is starting out good. I wish you guys all a wonderful Saturday. Go on out there and go win some big money.